Hello and welcome to Havendo Gaming. My name is Warrior and this is episode 9 of my Let's Play Tyranny series. In the last episode we took control of the Spire, we kicked an Oathbreaker off the roof, recruited another Oathbreaker into our service, and unlocked the next section of the game. So it looks like we're going to have to go and start taking over some other spires. But anyway, let's get into it. I really should load up the game before I switch over to the game screen. But anyway, nobody's perfect. Hope everyone's having a good day. I hope everyone's ready for the next installment of Tyranny. Leave me a comment, let me know how you're going. Let me know how your weekend was. I had a pretty good weekend. That's right, we also figured out that we get a helper. We can hire people to help us, so I suppose the question is, where are they? Let's see if we can find them. They might be inside. I believe we hired a blacksmith. Alright, so let's have a look around for this guy. Missed some loot opportunities too, so that's always good. We got camping supplies, healing potions, they're always good to have. Let's look down here first, considering this is where the training ground is. Where is this guy? Okay, well he's not in any of those rooms yet. Surely he's not tucked away in the corner up here, no. Okay, he might come later, or he might be outside or something, I don't know, we'll figure it out eventually. Alright, let's go. So I wonder how the map is going to change now that we need to go to different parts of the tiers. Did we get a chance to walk around? I don't think we got a chance to explore around here before, because we were on the inside of the gates. Merchant's hat. Alright, let's take that. Come over here first. And a light leather helm. Ah, here we go. There's a couple of question marks here. Let's read these. Power. Ending Kyros's edict on Vendrian's well filled you with a great deal of power. This will undoubtedly prove useful as you travel through the tiers. You should investigate the origins of this power and find ways to acquire more. Alright, a new bar on your character sheet displays your current level of power. Press C to open your character sheet and view your current level of power. Okay. Power. Where does... Ah, here we go. Power, 400. Wonder what that gets us. Unnerving Presence. Spire Rest bonus. Stand together, stand tall. Alright. Cool, that's that. Spire. You have acquired your first spire. This spire will be your home base as you adventure through the lands of Kyros's tiers. Your spire gives you a free location to rest and recover from your travels. As you acquire more spires, you will discover additional functionality. Okay. Click on the spire icon to open your home base interface or press H. Yeah, that's what we were looking for before. So we've got this smith who's employed by us. Just need to figure out how to, or where he is, how to talk to him. Alright. Reputation ability. You have gained enough reputation to unlock a new ability. Open the reputation UI by pressing R to see your new ability. Yep. Most factions have abilities your character can acquire as you build reputation with them. In order to acquire these abilities, you must build enough favour or wrath with the faction. Reputation abilities are only granted to your character, not to other party members. Alright. That's fair call. Reputations. Yeah, and we've already had a look at these in the last episode, so disfavoured, we've got a lot of favour with them. What's our next one here? Shielded for 80 damage for 30 seconds. Okay, that's cool. Favour of the Fate Binder. Yeah, and we've got a lot of Vendorian Guard. So we've got Unnerving Presence and Drained Strength. Alright. Barrack versus Ebb. Ebb, we've already got Heart of the Storm with Ebb because we kicked fucking Tarkus Ari off the spire. That's a fair call too. I'd be pretty worried about someone, or fearful of them, if I saw someone kick someone off a fucking huge roof. Alright. Keep looking. Keep looking. Oh, we've got a chest over here with some cheese. Alright, cool. Let's get to it. I believe our next quest is travel to Tunon's court in the Bastard City. So that's where we must go and investigate the spires. Yep, cool. To see Tunon. Come on. You must gather your party. There we go. Ascension Hall, Vendrian's Well Citadel. We've got Global. Okay, here we go. Nice. Alright. So we're going to the Bastard City, which I believe is over here. Sunset Spire. So this is our spire. Okay, so we've got... How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them, alright? Let's go to the Bastard City, to Tunon's Court. 2 days, 7 hours, 30 minutes. Except that. We don't have any time restraints on us anymore though. So we don't have to worry about the time that it takes to get between places at the moment anyway. Alright. Report to Tunon. Kairos is standard an imposing sight for both conquered and unconquered alike. Yeah, fair enough. Looks like a big hole in the ground. That's always great. Lady Lucretius. Lucretius. This well-dressed older woman stands apart from the milling crowds of nobles. She stares off into the distance, oblivious to your approach until you're right in front of her. Oh, greetings, she offers a reserved smile. Ander Lucretius, formerly of Thistleholm. You have the look of someone who belongs here. A fate binder, no doubt. She nods. Do you need something from me? What are all of these nobles doing in Tunon's court? How has the bastard city fared since the conquest? What brings a noble like yourself to Tunon's court? Tell me of yourself. What is Thistleholm? Farewell. What are all of these nobles doing? She smirks and shakes her head, trying to look brave, I'll warrant. But if you crane an ear to any of their conversations, you'll hear a different tale. 3 years since Tunon set up shop in the bastard city, we're still getting used to our new masters and figuring out what we can and ask of them. Can and can't ask of them. Alright, she nods to the assembled nobles. These are smart, ring-plenty folk. The way they approach Tunon, you'd think they were raised under a tyrant's lash. Some have come to settle a grievance, others to pledge fealty. I've been standing around long enough to know that the adjudicator doesn't care for empty gestures. Alright, how has the bastard city fared since the conquest? Chorus's forces took the city as we expected them to, without mercy or restraint. The Scarlet Chorus spilled more blood than we had to give. We had to tighten our belts when the army replenished their supplies from our farms and caravans. After our surrender, Tunon was kind enough to order grain hurled from the north. That earned him a lot of favour. Alright. What brings a noble like yourself to Tunon's court? A frown cracks her pleasant demeanour. Like the rest of the frightened inbreds here, I had come to see Tunon and ask him to right a wrong. My manor was destroyed during the conquest. I told the adjudicator my woes, but we didn't exactly see eye to eye. Fair enough. That's all about as much as I want to hear right now. Any petitioners that displease Tunon will meet their fate in the pits below the court. Lovely. Sounds like a stand-up kind of guy. Oh, we've got a whole bunch of guys here.
Sorry, can't.
And that's Tunon. Where else can we go? There's nothing written there. Nowhere else really to go.
You call yourselves officers of Kairos' army, but your conduct falls short of my expectations. The court finds your accounts of Vendrian's well lacking, rife with misdirection and fallacy, fouled with baseless accusation.
The shadows beneath Tunon's cloak darken and flare around him. Murmurs of unease erupt in the court. Listen. Your Honour, I have relayed the events as I experienced them. You can well imagine why my version conflicts with his. She makes a dismissive gesture to the Scarlet Chorus representative. On my honour, and on that of the great general, I would sooner snap my sword than perjure myself before you, Archon. Oh, so you imply that falsehood comes easier to my lips than yours. You're a fool if you believe the Archon of Justice won't see through your lies because the disfavoured think themselves better than an honest gang.
Silence. The contradictions in your statements will be examined, and falsities threshed from truths. If we find you have perjured yourselves, Bled and Mark will see to your fate.
The Archon turns and you feel his gaze upon you.
Fatebinder, we will start with the matter of the Archons. Graven Ash and the Voices of Nerat have declared war upon each other. In addition to violating Kairos' peace, they have thrown the conquest of the Tears into disarray. By all accounts, these hostilities began shortly after your arrival. Tell us what transpired.
The Archons could not agree on who should lead the siege and descended into accusations of treachery. It seemed a mutual spat. The Archons have been of different minds since the start of this war. Lie, you must be mistaken. I wasn't present. I'm going to say the Archons could not agree on who should lead the siege. The disfavoured were more deserving of the honour. Our tactics and training outmatched the Vendrian Guard at every turn. What balderdash! The disfavoured couldn't tip over a straw hut if they had a week to strategize. Our howling mob was better equipped to overwhelm the Vendrian Guard. Our recruits were ready to throw themselves at the enemy. If only Ash and his legion would agree to a plan.
The Fatebinder presents testimony. I warned you both against speaking out of turn. Something more than a mere disagreement unraveled this campaign. But I will return to that in time. Let us speak of Ascension Hall. The disfavored sing your praises across the realm, though the Scarlet Chorus appeal for charges of treason. Perhaps you can offer a more enlightened account.
I claimed the Citadel with a small unit of disfavored.
An efficient solution. The type I would expect from a capable agent. Tell me though, with the edict looming overhead and death the price of failure, why not employ the numerical advantage of the Scarlet Chorus?
The voices of Nerat provoked Ash at every turn. I suspected treachery. The siege called for tactics and planning, not raw numbers. For a long while, the adjudicator hovers in silence, shadows trailing from below his robes.
I will consider this testimony at length. The court thanks you for it. Is there anything you wish to add at this time?
I've told you all that I know.
Your testimony is accepted by the court. The statements of our guests raise questions in my mind. There is much about this campaign that has caused me to wonder. A shipment of iron weapons was short on arrival. Where coveted iron is concerned, I don't believe it to be a clerical error. One of my agents recovered this seal in Echo Call. It belongs to a merchant collective. Lethian's Crossing is teeming with their kind. If you would root out treachery, I would advise starting there.
Nice.
Petitioners, leave us. I would have a private audience with the Fatebinder. Ascend and join me. You will find the way opened.
Nice. Oh, a few different Fatebinders, that's cool. Fatebinder Calio. Warrior, I see you've returned to the fold. Your exploits in Vendrian's Well are the matter of some discussion. The Fatebinder of Balance regards you with a discerning eye, and for a moment you feel as if she is trying to peer into the very depths of your mind. What can I do for you? Calio touches the gentle hand to your shoulder. A gentle hand. Has anything happened while I was away? You seem to know much of my actions. Have you been spying on me? How have you occupied your time in the Bastard City? I'd like to know more about Tunon. I have some concerns about the war. You're free to share them in my confidence. She leans in closer. We cannot crush the opposition with such weak efforts. We are too lenient. Bloodshed and brutality reign supreme. A peace cannot follow such cruelty. Our armies squabble at each other's throats. Divided we cannot win. On second thought, let me ask something else. Our armies squabble at each other's throats. Divided we cannot win. Nah. You know what? Actually, yeah, fuck it. I'm less concerned about the armies than the Archons themselves. There can be no order when mountains collide. Who would you see as champion? The disfavored, our elite troops will bring us to victory. The Scarlet Chorus, their ruthlessness will win this war. Neither, they're both at fault and equally inept. Back to my previous questions. Well, we've been leaning into the disfavored. There is wisdom behind your reasoning. Wars are won through cunning, strategy and strength. The disfavored are outmatched only in number on the battlefield. Considering their opposition, Ash and his soldiers more than make up the difference. Has anything happened while I was away? After you dispatched Can by burying him in stone, I was charged with investigating the circumstances that led to his betrayal. The Archon had ignored Graven Ash's orders and turned his back on Kairos before his own selfish pursuits. Rogalus wanted to take advantage of the investigation, take charge of the investigation, but I feared that whatever seduced Can away from his senses in Azure might corrupt our Rogalus as well, so I took the task upon myself instead. Alright. How have you occupied your time in the Bastard City? Tunon sends me on assignments here and there. I settle disputes between the locals when the adjudicator is otherwise occupied. She smirks. Everything from trade disagreements to pushing chorus squatters out of basements. Real rewarding work. She waves it off. The glory of war is not an honour reserved for the likes of us. We're the fish swimming in Tunon's wake, picking up scraps along the way. We're rather large and imposing compared to the bottom feeders of the tiers, but fish all the same. Alright, farewell. Fatebinder Nunoval. Fatebinder Nunoval. Tunon Favor 1. Ah, Warrior, you return, unscathed and more acclaimed than ever. That seems to be your way. The Fatebinder of War claps you with excessive strength on the back, though whether it is a friendly greeting or a warning seems suspect. I look forward to more news of your travels in days to come. Surely you will regale me with the details. Come on, let us speak freely. How were you singled out to become a Fatebinder? I'm curious about Tunon's masks. Could you remind me of the history and origin of the Fatebinders? Tell me more about Kairos' armies, our allies. I claim to aspire at Vendrian's well. I would hear of your past victories in the war of the recent events. Alright. Have you not yet tired of my tales, Warrior? I do admit I never tire of telling them. He laughs heartily and deeply. Very well then, let me champion the feats of my conquest. Let the glory of Kairos' reign fall on any ears that would hear of it. If but you could have come with me, my brother, on my latest mission to Haven. It was a rousing venture rife with bloodshed and intrigue. Inspired by the Vendrian Guard, House Ducenius had a change of heart regarding her loyalties to the Overlord. So I rode without rest on rumours that they had fled to Ardent. Several days of hounding passed before I was able to locate them and rend their bellies. By my blade, the blood of the that once ruled Haven ran red in her streets. Okay. Farewell. And what are you the Fatebinder of? Fatebinder Rogalus. Fatebinder, your return. Rogalus looks you up and down with an inscrutable expression. You look as if you have questions for me to untangle. Ask. I am feeling generous. Tell me about your past, some of the past Archons. Where did you study when you were younger? What do you think about the other Fatebinders? Can you tell me about the old walls and the Bane? I'd like to know more about the tiers. What can you tell me of magic? I want to talk about the sages. Can you tell me about the old walls and the Bane? With which should I start? Tell me about the old walls. We know little enough about the ancient structures, save they predate all historical record. The forbidding ruins crisscrossed the tiers and north alike centuries before we raised our cities. The only one old enough to guess is likely Kairos. Tell me about the Bane. The Bane are found in the old walls, but much of their defining qualities still escape me. They are creatures of smoke, claw, and fang. If you find yourself unfortunate enough to fight one, remember that the spells are effective against them, but grab the attention of others lurking near. Alright.
Yes.
Farewell. Let's go upstairs. Nice. It's a nice looking throne hall. What's the name? What would be the name for it? Throne room.
This civil war, this feud, is an insult to Kairos' peace. It should not have taken the better part of a year to silence the last vestiges of the Oathbreakers.
Tunon regards you in thoughtful silence. I agree, Your Honor.
Our allies squabble while our enemies regroup. It falls upon the court to measure the extent of the damage and to execute the agents of disorder. I suspect that treachery, negligence, disunity, and greed have infected one or both of our esteemed allies. Until you are instructed otherwise, this matter is the court's primary focus.
Yes.
Graven Ash and the voices of Nerat must be examined in close detail. You are charged with observing the Archons and presenting your case that one of them has wrought chaos and disorder upon the tiers.
I'll make this my mission, Your Honor. What if I find them both blameless? Could they both be guilty? Could they both be guilty?
It's possible, but the momentum of the conquest up to this point suggests otherwise. The failure at Vendrian's Well implies a coordinated will behind the chaos. As always, you will be held accountable for what you do in the court's name, but you are free to conduct your investigation in the manner of your choosing. You must expect lies, misdirection, and manipulation. Suffer not such obstructions of justice. The disfavored seem the logical first step in your inquiry. The Legion holds you in some esteem, and Graven Ash has shown deference to the court in times past. No doubt the disfavored will be rife with accusations and evidence against the voices of Nerat. Graven Ash is a noble man, but never underestimate his capacity for deception. A wise general succeeds by knowing when to be unreadable to the enemy. You should, of course, speak with the Scarlet Chorus and gather their testimony, but it stands to reason that most in the chorus would sooner brag about a pauldron fashioned from your skull than entertain your questions. Do not regret killing the rabble that impede your investigation. They will be easily replaced.
Yeah, nice. I'll speak with the Archon of War. If Graven Ash were guilty, I'd imagine all his soldiers would lie for him. Interrogating the Scarlet Chorus seems an expedient move. I'll speak with the Archon of War.
Your fellow Fatebinders have been busy acting as my eyes and ears. I have a few leads for you to follow. You should, of course, speak with your brothers and sisters of the court if you need further counsel. The Scarlet Chorus leader in Plainsgate is set on taking the disfavored's holdings with lethal force. Rumors of aggressive chorus posturing are commonplace, but if you are in the Stone Sea, it would be wise to investigate. The Oathbreakers were reported to be using iron armaments, more than they might acquire from looting what few disfavored they killed. Any iron in the tiers not rusted through was made by forge-bound hands in Lethian's Crossing. Between craftsman and quartermaster, someone let iron fall into enemy hands. Investigate this matter and bring the thieves to justice.
Nice.
There is a final matter to discuss. A sensitive topic.
Though it's impossible to gauge from his expression, Tunon seems more wary than usual. What concerns the court, Your Honor?
In spite of the many shortcomings at Vendrian's Well, you managed to make a name for yourself. You proclaimed an Edict of Kairos, resolved its demanding conditions, and ascended the mountain spire. Any one of these feats would be worthy of recognition by the highest authority. You managed to accomplish 3.
Tunon hovers in observance, awaiting a response. I was only doing my job, Your Honor. I'm in a privileged position to accomplish incredible deeds. I was only doing my job, Your Honor.
Your sense of obligation to your role is admirable, but modesty will not recommend you to the task ahead. Whether by design or by accident, you have captured the attention of Kairos' army and the local tiersmen alike. This is no small opportunity, and the court charges you with exploiting your new standing to its fullest potential. You have a title in our hierarchy. However, it's a little-known secret that one's standing in the world is determined by their infamy, their deeds, and how they come to be known. Mind this notion as you bring justice to this lawless frontier. There may come a time when your deeds speak for you louder than any title. If your killing spree in the bastard city is any indication, you are no stranger to spreading infamy already.
Tunon nods in approval.
Whatever you did to capture the attention of the masses at Vendrian's Well, I would encourage you to do so again.
Understood. I will be known as a champion of justice. I will look forward to chaining chaos to my will. Great deeds will define me. Great deeds will define me.
You begin to understand. Whether your acts are favorable or heinous, it falls to you to bring greatness to this campaign. You are dismissed. Should the court have need of your presence, you will receive word. Go forth and do my bidding, and bring glory and honor to the tears in Kairos' name.
Tunon raps his gavel against the floor, the singular note resounding throughout the hall. Alright.
Yes.
So, we got some stuff. Evidence against Graven Ash, evidence against the voices of Nerat. Speak with Tunon privately. Into the Maelstrom. Meet Graven Ash at Iron Hearth. The disfavored general has regrouped his forces at the mountain fortress of Iron Hearth. Travel there to discuss the Archon of War's next move. The trial of Archons, stirring visions. Alright. Let's come and talk to Bitterquip. He ignores you with stern and distant expression. Okay. Are any of these guys? I'd immolate you right where you stand if it weren't for Tunon breathing down our necks. Bloodmulch, Fatebinder, you are no stranger to Tunon's court, but I prefer to spend as little time here as possible. In spite of these closed walls, I feel strangely exposed. He glances up at Tunon. Fair warning, when you backed Ash, you were as good as signing your death warrant, but we shouldn't discuss such matters in a court of law. You'll make our time in the tears an interesting one, won't you? He smiles for an uncomfortably long time. Of course you will. Fair enough. Let's go and talk to these guys. Didn't think I'd make it out of that pass alive. You've done well for the Legion, Fatebinder. Anything beats a prolonged siege, eh, Fatebinder? Enjoy the war while you can. Okay. Fatebinder, the lieutenant gives you a curt nod. I'm ill at ease in this polished hall, but I admit there is a reprieve from the battlefield and training grounds. If Ash needs me to stay here and represent his interests throughout the occupation, then I'll be up to the task. Came favor with the disfavored. Can't be worse than our days in Lethian's Crossing. Joking aside, you were generous to grant the disfavored control over the city. Even the Iron Legion needs a break from the front every once in a while. Alright. Let's see if these guys have anything else to say. Regards, Warrior, you look as if you need something. Kaleo tips her head to one side, a glimmer of curiosity in her dark, discerning eyes. Okay, nothing. Nothing new there. While we're in a talking mood, let's have a chat to our guys.
You look as if you have something on your mind. By all means.
Placing his weapon to his side, Barrick salutes you, the joints of his armor groan in protest.
What can I do for you?
Would you like to discuss removing your armor? Tell me about the disfavored. I have some questions about the Scarlet Chorus. What can you tell me of the Tears? We should talk about your connection with Verse. Tell me about the disfavored. We are the Iron Legion, the warrior elite of Kairos' fighting force. I could easily lose count of the hours extolling our glories. What is it you would like to know? Have you fought in any notable battles? Tell me about Graven Ash. What can you tell me of your time in the Legion? What of the other disfavored lieutenants? Why didn't the Legion prevent the uprising of Vendrians well? What more can you tell me of the Legion? So why is the Legion called the disfavored? Tell me about Graven Ash. Graven Ash is the general of the disfavored, veteran of centuries of battle, and an Archon without peer. I would follow him into the void and back without question. Barrick swings his arms in salute. How did he come to serve Kairos? As an Archon, what magic does he wield? How do you feel about Graven Ash? Back to my questions. How did he come to serve Kairos? Before the uniting of the Northern Empire, Graven Ash served as a warlord in the service of one of the local kings that defied Kairos' rule. Incredible as it may seem, Ash stood against Kairos' rule. Though his army was dismantled by Kairos' overwhelming numbers, Ash's forces performed admirably. It is said that he and his troops claimed 77 lives for each of their own. Jeez. Kairos took an interest in the military genius that bloodied his army. Graven Ash was summoned to a conclave of Archons, and though he was set in chains, he left as an Archon, having been granted a position of power in Kairos' great host of war. Thus the disfavoured were born. All of us today trace our line back to these warriors that impressed Kairos with their will and tenacity. The only difference is now we fight on the winning side. Though the general seldom speaks of it, I know that Ash humbled himself in order to spare his troops the brunt of Kairos' punishment. His loyalty to the old blood of the North is beyond question. He made the right choice to save his troops. And he would make it again to save any of us. There has never been more devoted and attentive leader. Barrick makes a proud fist and steps to salute with the forceful clatter of pots and pans. Alright, that's about enough of that. What about Verse?
Faithfinder. Always a pleasure.
Verse sizes you up with open curiosity. When her assessment is done, she laughs to herself, shaking her head.
What do you need? Okay, she doesn't look like she's got anything particular to say. Ebb nods at your approach and offers a curt bow.
What is it you need?
We should discuss matters at hand.
Well, we're working with the disfavored. You want my advice? My advice would be to get close to Graven Ash and plunge a poisoned shiv in his ear.
Graven Ash is my ally. I won't entertain such treachery. Glare silently. And how exactly do you think one goes about doing this? Glare silently.
Ah, right. I'm speaking out of line. But I don't really know what to say here. I hate the disfavored, but I'm sworn to your cause, so my honest opinion won't do anyone any good.
I have some questions for you.
Ask away.
Speak of magic, tell me about yourself. I have questions about the people of the Tears. What can you tell me of the Archons of the Tears? What do you know of arcane society? I'd like to ask you about your travel companions. Let's talk of something else. Let's return to our travels. I have questions about the people of the Tears.
We all know how to swim, and we all know how to fight. Most Northmen are lucky to make half that boast. What would you like to know?
Curious about the people of the Tears. What of the major resistors to Kairos' rule? What can you tell me about the different nations of the Tears? Let's change the subject. What can you tell me about the different nations of the Tears? Before Kairos came, the Tears were the younger realms, the bastard tier, and the free cities in about that order of prominence. We all trace our roots back to the Five Wives, though sometimes a bit of ancestral shoreline seems all we have in common. Can you tell me about the younger realms? Haven, Azure, Apex, and Stalwart have been the four major forces of the Tears for the last 4 centuries. A few other dynasties have tried their hand, but all eventually were defeated or absorbed into the 4 we know today. Not sure when the term younger came into fashion, but it's always been a term of humble contrast. Just look at the old walls. Someone was here before us and built them. Don't know really anything about them, but it stands to reason that they're used to be an older realms that did all the construction. They're used to be an older realms. Okay, I don't really fully grip the grammar in that, but anyway. Let's change the subject. Let's return to our travels. Alright, let's Let's get a move on. Bled and Mark, welcome back, kid. Amusing as it would have been to watch the edict drop, I guess I'm glad you lived. Bled and Mark, Archon of Shadows, rouses from a faraway stare, turning to face you with a wry smile. Though he stands still, he seems to sift in and out of the shadows that shroud him. Gain favour with Bleed and Mark. Here you threw your rings on Graven Ash's side. Not a bad bet to pick the Archon of War. But tell me the truth. Did you go with Ash because it seemed like the right thing to do, or because supporting the voices was a worse option? Neither Archon was at their best, but Graven Ash is a more capable warlord. Our lives depended on military success, so I was not about to hand control of the Archon of Secrets. What sane creature would trust the voices in the rat? Glare solemnly. What's it to you, Archon of the Elderly? Neither Archon was at their best, but Graven Ash is the more capable warlord. Gain favour with disfavoured, and gain favour with Bled and Mark. The disfavoured are nothing if not blindly devoted to their general, and though few in number, they are surprisingly difficult to kill. I don't have to like it to understand it. We both have our ways for turning the tides of war. All that matters is that the Edict of Execution was stayed. Those stationed at Vendrian's Well should be thanking you for their lives. Now, I assume you're off to meet Ash, but first, you and I need to have a little chat. Glare silently. Everyone's keeping an eye on you because you did something nobody has done before. Got a guess as to what that might be? First Fatebinder to engage in war against an allied soldiers. I'm the first Fatebinder to proclaim 2 edicts. I'm the first to resolve an edict before its consequences came to pass. I'm the first Fatebinder to awaken a spire of the old walls. I'm the first person to take an evasive stance against your rhetorical questions. Let me guess, I'm the first Fatebinder Kairos has decided to promote to some position of authority. Can't you just tell me? I'm just going to I'm the first Fatebinder to awaken a spire of the old balls. You're not wrong, that was definitely a shock, but I doubt it's the sole reason you've made the tears tremble. Proclaiming an edict isn't new, neither is surviving or resolving the commandments of an edict. But you're the first to proclaim and resolve the very same edict, and it didn't kill you. In one fell swoop, you survived your second edict, resolved the very one you had proclaimed, and woke an arcane structure that had slept for several centuries. Why should I care about any of this? So why are you telling me this? Did I do something wrong? Glare silently. And now I go on your short list of people who stand out as potential problems? Glare silently. I don't care what you do with the information, but you should know the danger you're in now that you've put yourself on the map. Sticking with the disfavoured is a smart idea, kid, at least smarter than getting mixed up with the Archon of Secrets. You will never really be one of them, but if you value Ash's warriors, they'll serve you as best they can. Serve you the best they can. Thanks for the advice. Thanks for the advice. The Archon of Shadows shrugs you in a farewell, but his golden eyes are alight with interest as he watches you. Alright, so we just got a whole bunch of reputation. So let's have a look. Bled and Mark. You need a reputation change of major strength to unlock this tier. Okay. Tunon. Alright. Disfavoured. Barracks loyalty went up. Okay.
Right.
Let's get a move on. So we want to go to the world and Sunset Spire, Mountain Spire, Iron Hearth. Let us go to Iron Hearth. 3 days, 8 hours, 15 minutes. Alright. Some abilities allow party members to attack multiple times with basic attacks. Cool. Alright. It's a lot of iron. Fox Trick.
Can't do that.
It's a nice name. Akalos. Greetings, faint biter. Akalos, 32nd Legion. Soldier salutes. Glad to see Tunon's agent Grace Ironhearth. Ash's troop has no lack of order, but a servant of the court is always welcome. Between our missing commanders and the Scarlet Chorus lieutenant pinned down, I'm afraid we have our hands full. I suppose I can spare a moment for conversation. Okay, no, nothing for now. Halfway's dead. The disfavored soldier chuckles with disdain at the Scarlet Chorus fighter. Consider it, not for a second. We picked our soldiers from elite northern families. We don't recruit from flyers buzzing over a mass grave. Are the disfavored so narrow-minded? My gang's strength delivered us across half a dozen battles with a line of fallen enemies in our wake. Not many conscripts can say the same. The question is not a matter of your skill, but of your breeding, your training, your pedigree. Noticing you, the Iron Guard salutes. Hail, Graven Ash, Fatebinder, if I might take a moment of your time. What do you need? This person comes representing a Scarlet Chorus gang. What did you call yourselves again? The Grinning Bleeders. We have a long and storied reputation in the Scarlet Chorus's ranks. Killers of the highest order, my gang. He puffs up his chest with pride. Before I was boss here, I ran with the Broken Shirts, the Salty Nightmares, and Trap Gang. Everyone made a name for themselves during the war. You made up at least 2 of those gangs. And don't even bother denying it. Just be careful what names you toss around when there's a former boss standing within earshot, you little pissant. Good work, Burst. Halfway's dead. One of his eyebrows snaps up at attention. Verse. So kind of you to chime in with your corrections. In any case, he's asking to join the disfavored, which is out of the question. I've explained the numerous reasons why we can't allow it, but the wretch won't listen. Is that accurate? Do you want me to decide the matter? Do you want me to decide the matter? You must know Chorus's laws back to front, and I trust you know our traditions as well. If it peels this lamprey off my backside, I'll allow it. Speaking for my gang, we accept your judgment. We're eager to crack some Tearsman's skulls with Chorus's army again, no matter what colour they wear. Let me take your testimony first. Of course, I have nothing to hide. Why can't the recruits join the disfavored? Most of us would rather swallow our tongues than take orders from some rigid officer who talked his way into leadership, but to each their own. Where do I start? Not only does Graven Ash hand-pick his disfavored from the decorated northern stock, he takes a personal interest in our training and education. We are his sons and daughters. To accept anything less in our ranks would hold the very process in contempt. The only capacity they could serve would be manual labour, hauling wagons or digging the trains, but that's the work of slaves and not what they've come requesting. Why this interest in the disfavoured? Better training, better quarters, iron weapons. The disfavoured have everything we wanted out of joining the military. We want to serve Kairos to the best of our abilities. Is that asking too much? Old Ironclad here seems to think so. Their respect for command leaves something to be desired. Barrack, okay. Why did you leave the Scarlet Chorus? Why did you leave the Scarlet? Our old gang boss fell at the last battle of Vendrian as well. We saw how the disfavored operated and realized there was a chance for a better life. A longer one, too. Desertion happens every day in the Scarlet Chorus. I can tell you what we won't be missed. I can tell you that we won't be missed. Verse. He says that like he's boasting. Only the shithill recruits who never made a name for themselves are overlooked at a muster. I'm ready to make my ruling. Good, whatever's fair, we're prepared to stand by. You abandon your duties, execution is the only recourse. You are no longer in the military. Go live civilian lives and keep Chorus's peace as best you can. I consign you to hard labour, hauling wagons, digging latrines. You abandon your duties. Execution is the only recourse. And it's mighty tempting. Mighty tempting. I consign you to hard labour, hauling wagons, digging latrines. You gain favoured with the disfavoured, you gain wrath with the Scarlet Chorus. But that's a waste of our talent. We could shed so much blood for the disfavoured. You gain loyalty with verse, you gain favour with bled and mark. I agree, it's a waste, but these fools should have known better than to turn coat. It always bites you in the arse eventually. Horde maggot, you occupy space and eat our food. Don't presume to complain about your treatment, Fatebinder. Fatebinder, I thank you. We could all learn from your practical calculating approach. Alright, that's cool.
What do we have here?
Got something purple here. That's a staff. Cool. Take that. What do we got here? It still contains spoils acquired on the battlefield, all of it neatly labelled and organised. Fox trick. A whetstone and an elixir of resolve. Nice. Let's explore up here first before we go any deeper.
I'd say that's worth a second glance.
Ooh, subterfuge. My only hope is that Archon Ash recognizes my devotion. Nice. These guys have got little stars here, so maybe there's someone worth talking to. You must be the Fatebinder of Tunon, the disfavored Ironwalker bows. Welcome to Iron Hearth. I'm sure that Graven Ash appreciates any help you can offer. Circumstances have a way of coming together so that the disfavored are always stretched thinner than we would like. What can I do for you? Why are the disfavored so overworked? Where were you during the conquest? After the Edict of Storms here, I spent some time among the ruins of Stalwart, digging out survivors from the Legion, afraid I didn't find much. She glances up at Barrack. You must have moved on by then, or else we would have assembled a team to excavate you. My prison moved with me. There was no reason to tarry. He bows his head respectfully. I still think about the brothers and sisters we left behind. Sometimes I can imagine that I hear their voices carry on the wind. Why are the disfavored so overworked? She rubs her palms together and frowns. We're trying to shoulder the brunt of this civil war without the strength of numbers. The Scarlet Chorus can throw 1,000 disposable bodies at an issue without a second thought. But we're forced to be a little more discriminating. We might be trained to deal with the stress of combat and all-night drills, but we're fatigued even by the high standard we set for ourselves. She studies you in a cautious manner. Not that I need to burden an agent of the court with my misgivings. Once the war is over and the tears are properly subdued, my hope is that Kairos dispatches some relief troops to support this occupation. We all deserve a season of rest. The court is always receptive to the needs of soldiers. Your point is noted. I hope you fight as well as you complain, soldier. The court is always receptive of the needs of soldiers. Your point is noted. That's That's very generous of you to say, Fatebinder. I'm grateful to know that someone is listening. A nervous smile brightens her expression. Well, I'll be on my way. The production of new potions isn't keeping up with demand. Many of these bottles remain empty. Yeah. Take some more salt. We'll grab a dagger. Good to see you, Fatebinder. I hope you're representing the disfavored whilst out on your adventures. Even though you're not a fully fledged disfavored recruit, I've been authorized to grant you purchasing rights from our store, within certain limits, of course. Nice. What limits are those? It's nothing personal, I assure you. Graven Ash wants us to control our supplies without restricting access to his army's supporters like yourself. The finest arms and freshest provisions are reserved for the soldiers under his direct command. I'm sure you understand. The Archon takes our protection very seriously. Understood. Let me see what you can offer me. Alright. Oh, okay. We got some iron armor and such. Some lesser healing potions. Let's buy them. Let's buy a couple of whetstones. For now, I'll have a look at swords and armor a bit later, but for now, let's see what we can sell. Let's get rid of the bronze dagger, the light leather helm, the merchant's hat, bronze tower shield. Stalwart helm is heavy armor, bronze. Now we're all sort of chilling out in light armor at the moment. Let's get rid of that. Veneering guard, heavy bronze gauntlets. No, let's get rid of that. Got a scroll. Leather. Disfavored shield. Sun soldier's shield. Oh yeah, that's right. We switched that over, didn't we? Yeah, let's sell that. Yeah, let's sell the Fatebinder stuff. Oh. No, I get that back. Sell the bow. Sell the dagger. Sell the javelin. Sell the broken armor. Sell that, sell that. Sell the iron greatsword. Sell the axe. Sell the hammer. Fragment of a blood chanter's cloak. Okay, that's just spare parts. Alright, trade that. Cool. And I think that's a good place to end the episode. So, let's give this here a save. And we'll move to our outro. Thanks heaps for joining me today, especially if you've made it all the way through to the end of the episode. Please like the video if you like what you saw, and consider subscribing if you want to continue on this playthrough of Tyranny with me. I'll put some cards up at the end, so if you want to check out my Banner Saga series, click on the link on the video, and if you want to go back to the start of this series, there'll be a link there as well. Hope you're all having a good day, and yeah, I'll see you for the next episode. Never stop loving life. Catch you later.